Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something I know a lot of you are dealing with, breaking through that tricky B1 plateau in German. So, we're going to get you set up with 30 really specific, powerful verbs that will take your language skills up a notch and get you well on your way to B2. All right, let's jump right in.
Does this sound familiar? You can get by, you can make yourself understood, but you just know your sentences are a little too simple. They're missing that certain something. You feel like you're using the same handful of basic verbs again and again. Well, that's the B1 plateau. And yeah, it can be super frustrating. But the good news, there is a very clear way to push past it.
And check this out. This is a perfect example of the difference we're talking about. On the left, you've got a totally fine B1 sentence. Ich finde Ihre Idee gut. I think your idea is good. Simple. But look at the right. Using a B2 level verb, it becomes Ich stimme Ihrem Vorschlag zu. I agree with your proposal. See how much more precise and professional that sounds? It's instantly more fluent. That's the kind of power we're going to unlock today. So I want you to think of the list we're about to go through not as some boring homework assignment, but as a brand new toolkit. Seriously, every single verb is like a specialized tool that lets you express yourself with so much more clarity and nuance, whether you're in a big business meeting or just having a debate with friends. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with verbs for discussions, then we'll jump into the professional world of work and projects. After that, we'll cover verbs for analyzing things, and we'll finish up with verbs to describe change. We've grouped them like this on purpose to make them way easier to learn and, most importantly, actually remember. Let's get to it. All right, first up, discussions. To really hold your own in a conversation at a B2 level, you've got to be able to state your opinion, back it up with reasons, and then react to what other people are saying with real precision. These verbs, they're your foundation. Okay, let's look at this powerful trio. First, you can behaupten, or claim something. It's a strong way to open, but that's not enough, right? You then have to begründen it. You have to give the reasons why you believe that. And the ultimate goal? To überzeugen, to actually convince the other person, because your arguments are just that good. And here's what that verb looks like in the real world. He was able to convince his boss to give him more responsibility. See, this isn't just about winning an argument for the sake of it. Using a verb like überzeugen shows you can get real results with your language. It's about influence, it's about persuasion. But of course, a good discussion isn't just about you talking. You have to react. So instead of a simple yes, you can formally zustimmen. Instead of just saying no, you can ablehnen an idea or an offer. You can give constructive feedback by using kritisnieren, and you can bestätigen that yes, a piece of information is correct. Each one is a clear, specific tool for your response. All right, now let's take these skills and apply them to a professional setting. At work, what you do and how you talk about it is absolutely crucial. These next verbs are your bread and butter for everything from applying for a job to managing a huge project. You can almost see a whole project timeline just with these 4 verbs. First, your team will entwickeln, a new concept, develop it. Then you'll durchführen, a test or a study, carry it out from start to finish. After that, you umsetzen the strategy, actually implementing it and making it real. And all along the way, every team member can beitragen zu the project's success, contribute to it. And beyond big projects, there's just daily professional life. You sich bewerben a new job. You don't just go to a meeting, you actively teilnehmen in it. You participate. You unterstützen your colleagues, and you sich beschäftigen mit a new topic to really become an expert. These are the action words of a proactive professional. Okay, let's go a level deeper now. B2 isn't just about saying what's happening. It's about explaining why it's happening. These next verbs are your analytical tools for digging in and speaking with more depth and precision. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because this is all about nuance. Both of these verbs are about cause and effect, but they're different. Verursachen points to a direct, active cause. The heavy rain caused the water damage. And stehen, on the other hand, is more passive. It describes something that arises or emerges, often from a complex situation, like an error that arose because 2 systems weren't compatible. Mastering this distinction, that is a huge step up. And to round out our analytical toolkit, we can vergleichen 2 different options. We have to berücksichtigen, all the important factors before deciding. We can darstellen, information in a chart to present it clearly. And we can break something down by explaining what it bestehen aus, what it consists of. All right, our final group of verbs is all about change. Whether you're talking about market trends, a company reorganization, or even just personal growth, these words let you narrate those processes of transformation with total clarity.
Okay, this is a classic pair you will use constantly. A company always wants to reduce or reduce its costs, and at the exact same time, it wants to steigern or increase its productivity. Simple, powerful, and absolutely essential for describing any kind of trend.
And finally, we have the verbs that actually drive the change. A new policy can beeinflussen or influence team morale. A company might einführen a brand new software system. That means they have to ersetzen the old one. And all of these actions started because someone had to sich entscheiden, to make a final choice. So, wow, we've covered a ton of ground here. We've just filled your toolkit with 30 new, super precise verbs. But, the most important part of owning any tool is actually putting it to use. So let's talk about what comes next for you.
30. That's not just a random number. That's 30 new ways for you to express your ideas, 30 keys to unlock more complex sentences and have deeper, more meaningful conversations, 30 new tools to really build your fluency.
So here's the bottom line. Making that leap from B1 to B2 is all about choosing precision over simplicity. It's about picking the right verb, not just an okay verb. Every single time you use one of these words, you are actively, consciously leveling up your German. And that brings me to my final, and honestly, the most important question for you. Don't just file this list away for later. I want you to think right now. Which one of these verbs are you going to use first? Maybe in an email, in a conversation later, or even just in a practice sentence you write down for yourself. Make that choice, and you've already started your real journey to B2.